Welcome back to Daytime. If you are unemployed or if you're unhappily employed or if you're underemployed, our next guests, Shereen, Hayat, and Randy May, Stanford-Leibold, are here to provide practical career transition advice. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thanks, Denise, for having us here.
And we all need that practical transition advice because throughout our lifetimes, most people will have more than one job.
Absolutely. I think it's important, Denise, for us to start off by acknowledging that careers are more than just a paycheck, right? And I think sometimes we get lost in that because we all have needs and responsibilities that we need to fulfill. But I think it's really important to see that our careers are such a large part of our own self-concept, right? And so when we're approaching career transitions, whether it be a job search, whether it be looking to transition from one field to another, it's important to take a three-dimensional approach, because as professionals, we're not one-dimensional. There's so many different aspects to us. So we look forward to sharing with you some tips to a three-dimensional approach to career transitions.
Absolutely. So let's just jump right into it. What is the three-dimensional approach? It sounds interesting.
Yeah. So I mean, something that I've created an approach that I take with my clients as well. And the key component that I find missing often, Denise, and the reason why I have my friend Randy here and my colleague Randy here, is that I think oftentimes job seekers are not in a neutral space. And they're either discontent because, as you mentioned, they're either unemployed, they're underemployed, right? So they want to do more, but maybe that opportunity is not there. And so I think it's, they're just really ready to just jump in and dust off that resume and start applying for jobs. But the key component that's lacking and that we need to focus on is the self-reflection piece. And I have Randy here who's going to talk about that.
Yeah, so what do you mean by self-reflection, Randy?
So self-reflection is how do you transition into your next role without bringing the baggage, stress, or potentially bitterness from a previous experience?
Oh, that's good.
So it's really important that you ask yourself 4 questions. So the 4 questions are, what lessons did I learn? Mm-hmm. How did I grow in that role? I may be in a position that I'm not enjoying anymore. I may be unemployed at this point in time. But what did I learn? What did I learn about myself? Who were the teachers in my work environment that I can learn from? And so that helps you to take that situation from being potentially an uncomfortable situation so that you can deal with it in a position of power and strength, so that when you go to your next interview, whether it's a behavioral interview and you get those questions, how was your previous experience at your other job, that you can say it from a place of honesty, that you actually reflected, and you can say the experience that helped you grow in that opportunity. The second question that's really important is, what did I love about my job? What are the things that made my heart sing? And what are the things that, when I was in my job or when I looked at that job posting, made me want to apply? Absolutely. And the third question is, what made it hard for me to wake up in the morning and actually go to work? Because sometimes we want to get to that next interview and get to that next job. But if we take a moment to reflect on what are the things that didn't sit well with me? Absolutely. What are the things that made me feel a bit anxious to go to work? So that we don't repeat those lessons in the next job opportunity. And the fourth one is really, what do I love to do? What are the things that I love doing that I could do for hours on end? I don't care if I'm working overtime. The things that really align with your purpose. So it's your personality and your purpose aligning with where you want to go so that you can lead with intention.
Those are great questions, because sometimes the fear of, I need to pay my bills, I need to get a job right away, blocks us. And what do we do for most of our lives is we work.
Absolutely.
And we have a little bit of home life and we sleep.
Absolutely.
So it's important to be happy in what you do.
Absolutely.
So what else would you like us to know?
So we've covered the first dimension.
Yes.
So once you're in a neutral space and you feel comfortable with what it is that you want to do, and you've had that internal focus, you've looked inwards, now it's time for you to look externally and be strategic. So it's the strategy dimension, as I call it. So looking at the needs of the employer and having a very focused approach. So maybe you're targeting specific employers, understanding, their current landscape. Have they currently gone through, maybe an acquisition, they've been acquired, and so there's change going in there. Maybe they've downsized and now they're, upsizing again. Being very clear and very aware of what's happening with those employers is important, because then you can articulate how you can add value. And so you think about it almost as if you're putting on your marketing hat. And we hear about this often. We talk about, job seekers need to be able to brand themselves and market themselves. And I think I personally encourage my clients to take a different approach in that you don't really create your brand. Your brand is who you are. It's now being able to articulate that in a way that's going to resonate with employers. And not being, it's okay to not be discouraged if it doesn't appeal to every employer that you apply to. It's having faith and trust that the right employer will connect back with you.
That's remarkable. And you had one more of the strategies for that three-dimensional approach, but we only have 30 seconds left.
So very quickly, we'll talk about action. So you're not alone on your job search, right? I think oftentimes job seekers can feel that way.
Okay, thank you so much. And you're
Thank
not
you.
alone. You have Hayat HR to assist you as well. Up next, life hacks. We'll be right back. Yeah, you know what? It sounds like you have